like condoms here for that.
Yeah,
But
I feel like that's a commonplace thing. It's like my first impulse is to want to deep throat a mic every time I get near one. But that's
you gotta put something.
As long as
something
it's
silly
dry,
right
I
in
guess. What were we talking
Why?
about? Oh yeah.
Hemoglobin.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Uh,
A friend used to donate plasma all the time.
we're talking about www.therailroadbillshow.com.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I was just saying how, in the long tradition of Monty Python, it's like, you can be funny. I always say sometimes the only way you can talk about serious subject matter is through the guise of buffoonery, because people don't want to hear you just lecturing them all the time. They like to be able to laugh at how ridiculous it is. So there you go. That's what the basis of it is, I guess. And it's just, you got music in there, just different things, just ways to pass the time, really, because what else is there to do?
Yeah, I wish somebody would just come up with things to occupy my time. So when you're doing like the split screen, like you just leave the camera there, do you ever like bump the camera when you're...
Yeah, sometimes I do, and that's when it's like, I've gotten it down a lot, I use an iPhone, and that's why it's interesting, I guess, because I do it all myself, so I film myself, and then it's like, it's hilarious. But yeah, so it's like,
here, these help sometimes.
No, I don't need it. It's alright. I was just thinking it's funny. I'm not mad. I'm actually into it. I like the random noises in the background.
I'm not mad. I'm just resentful.
I'm just resentful. That has nothing to do with this. But yeah, so I'll film myself, and and then do the lights and everything, and just sometimes wacky things happen. Sometimes it's interesting because of just doing it out in the general public, and you're doing weird things. Like one day I was dressed and painted my whole self black, and I was like hiding around the corner, like screaming at an invisible person, and some lady got really freaked out and kind of was like, I think she uttered something in Spanish, something to do with Christ, and I think it was
Jesus Cristo!
something like that. Something,
La
some sort of
demonica!
demonica.
Or something. El Diablo.
Yeah. But it's good. I like to think it's fun.
Yeah, they make good background extras when they don't know that they're being filmed. People.
Yes,
I like
Spaniards.
I like the one guy that's when you're like sitting at the desk in the street. I just keep thinking of the last episode 4.
Oh yeah.
But like he's just like watching you, and I remember like Harry Cloud like seeing that and just like cracking up, like these people like to hear just to hear like these.
Well, because it's funny because you don't
just to
know.
get any taste of it.
That's the thing. It's like it's what's cool about doing kind of guerrilla filmmaking sometimes is the things that happen randomly, and it's like you don't really sign waivers and things like that. But it's just like the whole, it's like that. What you're talking about is like that. I had put a desk out on the sidewalk and did this like weird monologue out there, but like halfway through, this homeless guy came up and just leaned against the wall and just started watching me. I was like hoping people would get in the shot just to have
to gather
to
around.
get that, because like you can't really tell exactly. You kind of get that you're on the street with like the initial wide shot, but then you cut to the side and you see there's like a homeless guy like just taking it to the streets. That was the whole thing,
Taking it to the streets. It's not just video. It's live performance art in reality.
Yeah.
So what else you been up to? What have you been up to today?
Oh, well, I was filming today actually. I've been working. Man, I like.
In episode 5 or something else?
Well, I'm gonna start doing them in I'm gonna do episode 5, but I'm gonna start cutting them up into like shorter segments because they're normally like 15 minutes, and people like even my like best friends like nobody fucking watches the whole thing,
Yeah, sometimes towards the end it can be a little bit of a struggle. Like
it's 15 minutes is long for some random video on the internet,
Yeah.
Like most people, if they don't know you, they're not gonna sit through that.
I think it's just pacing or whatever. But I mean, it seems like there's good pacing with it. Yeah, I don't know.
What are you saying? I don't have good pacing? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, man, shit's a fucking drag. It's like I get all excited and then I gotta listen to people talk. I just want to see where the wig.
Well, yeah, but I think it's
I can't get off unless you're wearing the
short
wig.
attention spans. Just 3-minute chunks maybe. So I'm doing that, but yeah.
The wig and the makeup.
The wig and the makeup. This one has masturbation. They usually have masturbation, I feel like. Whether it's mental masturbation or physical masturbation. There's usually some sort of masturbation going on in my videos, so.
Well, I think there's a whole lot of that going on with viewers here on Sonic Box.
Yeah.
Not saying everybody's doing it.
Yeah. I don't know. I always wonder those things, like when people see me on the internet. I mean, there's people that I've masturbated to their profiles over the years, not as much as I used to, but I wonder how many people have masturbated to my whether it's Instagram account or Railroad Bill's show. I don't know. I mean, I imagine it happens. I'm fairly attractive, you know. I'm getting a little older, but I still, you know, this one I'm hoping I take my shirt off a couple times and there's like a masturbation scene with me on the toilet, and I'm hoping maybe that'll draw some inspiration for people. It's not the only point, but it's, you know, you always got to wonder about those behind the scenes things.
It's like a weird magic. It's like sex magic or chaos magic or something.
Totally. Does something, you know. I feel like there's some energy transfer when someone masturbates to your and like if you're a porn star and people do it all the time, that maybe does something. I don't know, maybe it does nothing.
That's why porn stars just get blonder and bigger tits as the years go by, right? Because it's being manifested.
They're gathering all that weird like sexual potency that's out there, and they have to like manifest it somewhere, so they just put it into their breasts and their I don't know.
And my girlfriend was telling me about like sex magic. It's like when you like reach orgasm, it's like you're tapping into like another realm or something. So it's like that's why people like, I guess, like have like a focused thing in mind when they have like sex magic orgies and stuff or something like that.
Yeah.
So now I try to be careful like with if I'm like masturbating or having sex.
Definitely.
To like not perpetuate shitty stuff.
I think it's something that actually, when I first started masturbating when I was younger, I would always like have like awesome fantasies in my head, and then I like, you know, found porn from my dad and stuff, and then there was a brief period where I got more into internet porn. But I feel like that's the worst, man. Internet porn, it's like kids don't use their imaginations these days. It's like that's where you get all like, I mean, I think that's like if there's any downfall of the iPhone, you know, it's that's what it is. It's like because you have these flowering thoughts that go, and they turn into all these things, but when you have the screen, it cuts it off in the middle. So
you just go directly to something, and it's like, here's what already exists.
Which is fine for some things, but you got to have like good masturbatory fantasies, and like even like with masturbation, I find that like I feel like I'm more drained the older I get when I masturbate just to like nothing.
Yeah, like you lose energy or you're ready to like take a nap.
But if it's good sex, especially connected sex, then I feel like I can gain energy from that. And I think that's the whole thing of like, it's the whole thing with Tantra, I think.
So
I think that's the same. I wish I knew more about that. I would like to learn about it because I think there's something to it.
Yeah, that's something interesting that I started to peek into a little while ago and then completely like lost focus with or something. Yeah, I know like Grant Morrison was talking about like he did these comics called The Invisibles and like,
yeah,
they were going to get like cut off, so he made a sigil and told everybody to masturbate to it, and then they did, and then he was able to continue the rest of the comic. I even had a friend, Austin Sowersby, who did a sigil for a lotto ticket and masturbated and then like won like $20 or something.
Wow. That's, I mean, yeah, I want to reread those. I read the first couple of The Invisibles, but I was getting them from the library and I never got the rest or something. But I remember him talking a lot about, like, when he was creating that, like, everything was changing around. As he was writing stuff,
oh,
like, things were
with, like, the
to
torture
him.
scene and then, like, him and Raven.
I believe that, though. You know, you experience stuff. And you kind of, like, it's just thought forms, I guess. You create something clear enough in your mind, and it starts happening around you. I think, like, in certain points in life.
You got to be careful. I've done some weird stuff on accident.
Definitely, but yeah, I think being careful and kind of knowing what you're looking for, I guess. I think it happens just randomly to people by accident sometimes. And who's that? What the hell is this?
There's a lot of people.
Cuckoo, cuckoo. As the words, you know.
So you're gonna shorten these episodes, and I remember like between episodes, I think what was it, like 2 and 3, or just different skits within episode 3. There was like stories tying together. Are you gonna continue that at all?
Yeah, no, I'm just trying to do like the, I guess like I got that from like Richard Linklater, that Slacker movie. You ever seen that?
I don't know.
It's a good
Probably
movie.
Not.
But basically that whole movie is like, it just flows the whole time. So it's like, say somebody walks into a house, right? And then they talk to somebody in that house, and then that person leaves, and you follow that person. They get in a car and drive downtown, and then it just follows.
Oh, yeah,
like,
it just
interconnect.
Like yeah, builds.
So I'm trying to do it like that, right? So all of them kind of interflow, and they all do so far. It may be harder to tell, but they actually do, whether it's like location, like, but I'm trying to just keep it like flowing like that, so eventually you can watch it all like a long movie. And
nice.
But having things that come back, you know, just like that, like stock it full of like little hidden things that you don't necessarily notice. Like there's one thing in there that I don't know if anyone's noticed, but I don't know who watches it anyways. But I had the red telephone's always in there. I should call it the red telephone. It sounds like, what's that love song? The red telephone. But yeah, I don't know.
The red telephone. Call me when it's hot. No.
I look like
Yeah.
I have this weird
Show
hairstyle
that
right
chest
now.
hair. It's like 90s, 70s, or like 90s, 60s mixed with like maybe like 1920s.
My hairstyle?
Just you all together on the screen.
Yeah. You look different sometimes when you look at yourself on the screen. I mean, you think I see that a lot, but maybe it's the background.
I think it's this diffused lighting.
Maybe, yeah. We're
not the
nice-looking
best.
people, like, for the most part. You know. We're going to get old and more unattractive, but
Perhaps. I
wonder-
think a degree of aging is something people have brainwashed into themselves. Like they see it happening all around them, and they're told it's going to happen, and they stress about it, and then it begins to happen.
So you
But
think you couldn't not age if you had the right mindset?
Yeah, to a degree. Although it's sometimes I have difficulty like keeping myself convinced of that. But like I've heard stories of like yogis that are hundreds of years old, or like
Yeah.
and like not that I follow the Bible, but I believe some of it as historical reference talks about people living to be hundreds of thousands of years old, and then but maybe that's has to do with something with like day length being different or something. But yeah, I don't know. I think we kind of maybe it's also reflecting like the times we live in, like
Yeah.
health wise.
I agree. I think that, well, you notice, how time is kind of relative like that, how certain years I've definitely, it's just stress levels. And if you can kind of have the perception where you're not like getting stressed, you don't age as much. Like I've had years where I probably aged like 10 years, and there's years where I don't really age at all.
Yeah.
But it's like maintaining that kind of, it's just all into like the present moment sort of thing. Everything that kind of sounds cliche and new agey, but it's true though, If you can kind of not get, you have the power to not get stressed and like freak out about things, but
Yeah,
it's
'cause
kind of
you-
hard to remember that all the time. You go down these rabbit holes where you're freaking out and everything gets all, and all of a sudden you're fucking 5 years older.
I'm gonna be late. Fuck! Why didn't they call me back? Oh, I forgot to do that. Son of a bitch!
She was lovely. I want her more than she wants me. My face is falling off. I need this alcohol and the rufenols and the methanols.
My hair's
to
turning white. Oh my
disclose
God.
my
Oh my God, I'm gonna
frequency.
stress out more.
Everything is terrible. My pants don't fit me anymore. God, I just want.
Shut up! God, why are people such assholes?
Everything is
Everybody's
so
an idiot.
complicated. Why don't people just listen to me? One day, see, now we're like 5 minutes older, and we would have just been a minute. Took 5 minutes off our life, right there.
It happens.
But now, if you can get into a tranquil state, then I think you can go back and kind of get. What
yeah,
is the subject matter here?
I remember Ian making a joke or something.
Ian
He's
Mackay from Fugazi.
Ian Mackay from Fugazi was
no, he
at
told jokes.
Eric's. No, I don't know his real
Ian
last
who?
name. Somebody that chants. He's just like, I don't know how old anybody is here because everybody chants and
yeah.
looks like they're still in their 20s.
Right, it's true.
I thought that was funny, but he was addressing somebody that doesn't chant, so
Oh yeah.
it looked young.
Well, yeah, I think chanting definitely, meditation, those sort of things will help you stay in the present moment for a long. The thing is, all
For
the
sure.
truths are kind of sound so.
They sound
cliche.
they sound
cheesy
cliche.
and
I used
stupid.
to get
People
really
cringe,
mad. Like I used to be a really negative person, and I really embraced negativity, and like I felt good like being a downer. Like I thought all the like hippie shit was fucking stupid and like it just sounds so fucking weak, or like I didn't like it, so like I would get kind of mad. Like yeah. Coming to realize like, oh, I guess people say this for a reason. I guess like positivity is good. I guess
Right.
like relaxation or meditating and exercising actually is healthy, and I can't just like drink chocolate milkshakes and like threaten to kill people I don't like.
Yeah, I mean, you could drink chocolate milkshakes, but
Yeah.
and you can even threaten to kill people if you do it in a way that's fun and relaxing on the mind. But I don't know. I think you're right. Like, I don't know why people are so cynical about certain things. You get like stigmatized about, you say the word love or UFOs, and all of a sudden people are like, oh God, don't start, man. They're so cynical.
That's crazy.
Cynicism. I'm the most cynical bastard. I used to be worse, but I think it's a disease sometimes. It's like, come on, man. I think it's just like it's being self-conscious, and you're like, oh, I don't want people to think that I'm thinking too much, stinking about being nice or being something, but then you get older and you realize
They're
that like
afraid.
you can let the positive vibes in. Because I was, when I was younger, I was just like, fuck everything, it's stupid. Like I hate it. I hate it because it sucks, and it sucks because I hate it.
Yeah. You don't
know?
realize that it sucks because you hate it though until you learn.
Yeah, but then I think that happens. You just gotta like fight that and just be aware of it. Awareness, that's good. Awareness helps.
Conscious crayons.
Just be a more
staring
conscious
at
human
you.
being, man. That's all that we're asking.
Figure it out.
Listen to your serendipitous insides. Take apart all of those mischievous deviations of self. Find a compass that can sync you up to the symmetrical beef of infinity. I knew there'd be some titties in there somewhere, didn't you?
Infinite titties.
Infinite titties. That's what's going on back here, I think. Do you see them?
It's titillating.
Wow. Look, there's even got nipples on it. That's so weird.
They do.
That's like, everything is syncing up, man. Do you feel it in your bones?
I was down there once, and it was pretty intense. And
Down
then,
here?
over here it gets kind of cool. You can really feel it, but it's
thing.
more it's more like relaxing. I can concentrate if I remain here. But towards the end of the day, I usually start getting more amped up to fuse on through, and by the end of the day, I'm just completely through that thing, man.
Yeah. It all looks the same from afar, but you get in there and you start seeing
They're each planets, they're each molecules, they're each eyeballs, they're, whatever they're composed of, everything and nothing.
Yeah. It's a lot going on there. So, how are you? How have you been?
I have been pretty good. I have a lot of work to do, trying not to stress about that because I take on too many projects, and I'm still trying to finish ones that I began
Yeah.
a while
Well,
ago.
I mean,
But it's good.
I think you can do it that way sometimes. I don't know. I kind of like I can do that with books. I can read lots of books, and sometimes I'll read a bunch at once and then kind of work my way through what's interesting. But you can do that with projects, I think, if you got one that's interesting now, as long as they get done eventually.
Yeah, as long as they get done. It just depends on the flow. I think I'm going to start simplifying things more because it's it moves faster, because the problem is with multitasking in general, it's been studies, I don't know which studies, but I remember reading that studies showed that
Male infertility studies?
no, studies that you would if you focus on one thing, you get it done faster as opposed to multitasking. And
No,
we
it's
live
true.
in such a the 21st century where we live or everywhere is just very about multitasking everything because we're so
Yeah.
distracted.
I think having a method that works for you and knowing that it works, and then I think
Finding that,
sometimes-
yeah. It's
Yeah.
like a balance or a rhythm. I'm trying to structure my operation almost like how I would structure songs, but even in a more organic way where it's dun 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 dun, I'm doing music and then bump 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 film and then there's work
But
or
they
something.
all kind of yeah, because I was doing that last couple months. I was I wanted to get better at recording music.
Yeah.
Because I have all these songs, but I'm terrible at producing things. So I'm I want to learn this. I'm gonna learn this for a while. But at the same time, I was writing the episode I'm doing now. But I wanted to learn that because I wanted to make a song for the video, and you know what I mean. They all kind of I want to do this because this will affect this. They all
Yeah,
kind of tie in
connected.
later, like the thing back there.
Shoelaces.
All
yeah.
comes to the point of infinite. But yeah, so I think it's good if you can if they're going somewhere, but sometimes they don't connect and they're just you're just ways to I think it's an escape from I'm not finishing this project because I can't, so I'm just gonna do this one and then
Yeah.
it's it's all about and then
Keep
or-
the passion, keep the spices.
yeah,
Spices, create them.
we're all
smoke it herb.
talking about the same thing,
Yeah, that's a funny thing. Sometimes I start looking at stuff what's the point, man? It's so minuscule to the whole thing, even though little tiny pieces are the whole thing too.
Yeah. No, I think it's if you're living, I don't know how you're supposed to be or to the best of your ability, everything kind of it's
Works.
just you're on
Yeah.
you're on a course for everything kind of ties together, and this affects. It's just I believe in I don't know what it is, destiny, cause and effect, maybe but it's I think the things that they kind of all sync up in a way down the line. There's something that if you're where you're supposed to be, you get what you need. I think there's a song about that. I don't know.
Yeah. No, I agree. I guess I haven't really thought about it too much that way, but yeah, it's just if you're doing what you're supposed to be doing, what's right for your
But that's the tricky
spirit's
thing.
journey. Yeah, well, you can't overthink it.
Well, it's like what? Because then that's where it's like I'm doing exactly what I'm supposed to be doing. All those people needed to die. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah,
like that sort
yeah,
of thing. It's like
yeah.
how do you? But I think it's like getting
You gotta-
clear vision
clear
of like your
vision.
delusion or what's not delusional. Because that's the thing. A lot of people think they're doing what they should be doing, but it's like it's a complicated thing, and only one man can really know for sure what he should be doing. And he might be crazy out of his fucking mind. Who knows? Maybe we're all delusional. But I have a feeling.
Yeah, I share that feeling where it's like a detachment from the ego, but understanding where your ego. It's almost funny to me because it like almost reflects like communism or socialism more to a degree, but
Yeah.
without underlying, without forgetting the importance of
Spiritual socialism?
yeah, like it's all like you came into this life for some specific person's purpose or persons to grow or understand or achieve things or like help people in some way, and then maybe you get distracted from some things, or it's I think it's all kind of still like an experiment in general too, because there's no like to me like fate. Like I don't believe in fate, but I do at the same time. It's like
Yeah,
kind of
it's
like
weird
with
how that works.
like the ancient Insanzen thing or whatever, like 3,000 possibilities in a single moment, kind of trips me out.
Yeah.
Because it's like, and like I've thought about that before, where it's like we're constantly creating our realities, and it's like, well, how do I know I'm not gonna deviate from like the best choice to end up like passed out drunk in a gutter? But I think it's just, you reach that meditative state just simply by not worrying and being the best, living to the best you can and being as conscious as you can be, and it comes together. And if it doesn't, well, fuck it. What the fuck difference does it make? I guess.
Right. Yeah, I feel like, and maybe fate is kind of like constantly reinventing itself. So it's like sometimes I feel like it's like you believe in fate and destiny, and sometimes it seems like there are like certain. I mean, I think that's what karma is. Do you believe in reincarnation?
Definitely.
Yeah, I do too, and I think it's hard to say exactly why. I mean, the one thing is it's like we all come into this life at such a different point. I mean, maybe it's just our DNA, and it's like maybe not even us coming back, but there is like a set of circumstances that need to come and work themselves out. But it's like sometimes I feel like there's certain people and situations you're supposed to come into. Like you say you have this point and this point,
Yeah.
and in between them you could go all the way over here or there, and that's your free will, right?
Oh, and then you
But
come
then
back
you come
to,
back to the point. You're going to hit the points maybe. Sometimes that seems to make sense. I don't know.
Yeah, well, with like the karma thing, it's kind of like you have something set up based on, past decisions or whatever. So it's like, if it's something good, maybe it's something you've been like wanting, and you've like kept that clear or something, so you get to it, or you did something that's like, well, that's gonna happen. But I mean, it could exist
that's
outside that too.
what it makes sense for like past life sometimes, like these situations that I mean, someone put it to me this way once. Or like, I think they were just talking about astrology or something. They were saying it's kind of like the weather,